Okay, here we are on the second video, starting with number 6. So you need to pause and get caught up. Go ahead and do so now. So this is another way to work with function notations. These two are exactly like, the first and last are exactly like what we just did. This is like saying find f of negative 2 and find f of 5. The middle one is a little bit different. Let's do the first two first. So if x is 2, I plug in negative 2. 4 times negative 2 minus 11. You can use your calculator. And we get negative 19. So we write over here negative 19. It does say f. I'm sorry. I'm going to go ahead and it says g. Let's write that real quick. I love it when it does that. So g of negative 2, g of 5. To find the g of 5, I'm going to plug in 5 for x. So 4 times 5 minus 11. 20 minus 11 is 9. So I write 9 over here. But the middle one is a little bit different. This is like saying y is negative 15 solved for x. So I'm going to go ahead and write a full equation this time. Negative 15 equals 4x minus 11. To get the 11 on the other side, I'm going to add 11 to both sides. And I get negative 4 equals 4x. Divide by negative 4, and I get x equals 1. And just as a double check, I kind of look at the pattern here. My x's are increasing, and my y's are increasing each step as well. It gets bigger by 4. Okay. All right, let's go on to the next function. Here's one we haven't practiced a whole bunch. Not in this section, at least. We did it a lot in the first unit. So it's writing an equation. You need to find the part that changes, or the part that has the per something on it. So this is your cost that goes with x. This is your variable rate. This is your flat rate. If you got $100, then you have 100, and if we're using that money, we're going to take money away from that, and we get 15x. Now this is not an equation until I write in the y. Until I put a y variable in. So I'm going to say y equals. We do not have to define our variables, but if you want to, x is the number of lessons, y is the money remaining, or amount of money. Okay, I'm going to move on. If you need to pause it, go ahead. All right, so sorry, I've got a little edit in here. On this one, I think what is intended is that the 150 is supposed to be a negative number. And this is not the variable rate. This is the flat rate. Great. Just keep doing this for the rest of the video. So that's going to be a negative 150, and to pay back, we're going to say that this is a positive 5, and this is the per week, so we're going to put an x with that. So we have negative 150 plus 5x, or 5x minus 150, either way. It's not an equation until I write y equals. Make sure you write y equals. And in this case, x is the number of weeks, and and y is the money. And since it's a negative, you could say the money he has. You could say the money he owes. However you want to see that. Which has a negative rate of change. Function 1 has a negative rate of change. So that was a little tough. If you're having trouble with those, come in and get some extra examples. I can help you with that. Go ahead and pause if you need to. I'm going to move on. All right, number 8, graphing a linear function. This should be something that we all can do. If this is something you cannot do, this is one of the primary skills of algebra. You need to learn this very soon and be able to do it well. This is the linear function. This is in the form y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope, which is rise over run. You don't need to write all this down, but if for some reason you haven't learned this yet, you have to learn it before the retake. You must learn it now. And in this case, the slope is negative 1/3. B is the y-intercept, and our b value here is negative 4. You start with the b value, so that goes first. The slope gives you a direction. But to have a direction, you have to know where to start. So we start at negative 4, and it says down 1, right 3. Now I can't go down 1, right 3, and be very accurate. So the backwards of down is up, the backwards of right is left. So if I go backwards, I end up there. And then I connect these 3 dots with a straight line. Straight edges are excellent, but drawing it in is fine. And that's really all it is. So, quick review. Plot the negative 4. And then use rise over run from the negative 4. Okay, if you need to pause, go ahead and pause. So number 8 is kind of the backwards of number 7. Number 7, we went from an equation to a graph. Now we're going from a graph to an equation. So what we need to recognize is that this is the y-intercept. This is the b value. So b equals negative 2. Using y equals mx plus b. If you haven't memorized that yet, again, you really need to. The b value is negative 2. To find the slope, I'm going to go from this negative 2 to this point right here. It's good to mark which points you're using so I know how to count. Now, down 1, I'm level with this at 1. So negative 1 over 3. Always count left to right. I prefer you count left to right. So your up or down shows the positive or negative. Your right is always positive. So the slope here is negative 1/3. All you have to now do is put in those numbers. So y equals, and we have the slope, negative 1/3, the b as minus 2, and that's your answer. That's it. If you need to pause, go ahead and do that. Number 10, this is one that we did not practice a whole bunch, but it's not asking too much. You're just to make up your own equation, just to write 2 equations. To be an equation, there has to be an equal sign. So write equations. So there's going to be a y equals and a y equals. In this case, they want opposite intercepts. Opposite intercepts. So it doesn't matter what the slope is. So 2x, and then an opposite 2x plus 3. I could do 5x minus 3. So it's this part right here that gives me the opposite intercepts. Another example. You only have to do one example. So, but another example could be y equals 2x plus 7, and then y equals 9x, and then to get the opposite intercept, minus 7. This part right here is the opposite intercept part. Two lines going in different directions, that just means two different slopes. So different directions is different slope. So to be an equation, there has to be an equal sign, y equals. So if I'm going to use a slope of 3, I need a different slope. Negative 3. Well, that's not just not only different, but it's opposite. And it doesn't matter what the blue numbers are. This shows me different slopes. This is where we get the different direction from. Probably should have said different slopes. On the test, it may ask for opposite slopes. It may ask for same slope, different intercepts, things like that. Just read the question carefully. All right, if you need to pause, go ahead and pause. All right, number 11. This is one of the find the error things. Make sure that you read the question correctly first. Who is incorrect? Don't tell me who is correct. That's not answering the question. Who is incorrect? So what we have here is the point slope formula. If you forget the point slope formula, it might show up somewhere on the test. Check these error things to help you with formulas if you've forgotten them. So this is the point. We have the point 4, negative 9. So the 4 is the x value. The negative 9 is a y value. We should have then minus negative 9 here. And we should have minus 4 here. Well, minus a negative is plus a positive. So this is the part that is wrong. Addison is wrong. Addison is wrong. Explain the error. I guess we could say Addison replaced the x and y values incorrectly. I'm not great at these. It should be y plus 9. It should be x minus 4. That would be describing the correction. All right, if you need to pause, go ahead and pause. Number 12, graph the function. Now, this is in point slope form. We didn't graph a whole lot in point slope, but remember that it's y minus y equals 3 times, or m, sorry, times x minus x. So this point, negative 1, 2 is on the graph. You could plot that, negative 1, 2, and then use the slope. I think it's probably better practice to solve for y. This will allow you to check it on your calculator as well. Distribute the 3. And then add 2. It's very straightforward math. It's something you should be able to do fairly easily. And now we have a slope, and we have the y-intercept. So we're going to put in the y-intercept. Now, I can't go up 3 and over 1. I'm going to be off the grid, in this case off the video. So we should be going up 3